What's going on? What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing out there?
Yeah.
Welcome to Local Musicians.
XP around this boy.
Right. My name is Chris Burroughs. With me is my trusty partner in crime, the great Tyrone Jackson. We are here for your Tuesday night entertainment.
Yes.
And
not audio and listening or visual pleasure.
Oh, that's right. I had doggone it. I had a thing going.
Yeah.
Your audio and visual pleasure. That's right. I blew the streak, man. I had it going.
You had it.
Had my own little thing. Yes, but anyway, we are here and we are ready to go. We are excited to talk to you about what.
Remember last week you said, "Can anybody be Brad into the thing?" He said, "Still first."
See, but Brad, when he get fixated on a subject, that's what he's gonna win. That's just Brad. You know,
I don't see the problem with that.
That's just Brad. All right, Brad, you still first. All right. But welcome in, everybody. Looks like we got some people coming in. Let it be known if you are here in the chat. If you are checking us out on Facebook, follow us on our Facebook page at Local Musicians XP. Same thing for Instagram. We've got more comments. Sorry. Man, there is no trophy for second place, brother. Sorry, John.
Brad said, "Don't get no pasta before the show." Bro.
Had to finish my pasta. Look at this guy, man.
I wonder if he made it.
The Godfather, man. We call him the Godfather. The Godfather, man.
Was he there last night?
Lamatina was there in full swing last night, man.
Nice.
Full swing with the new stick bag, bro. Yeah, this new nice shiny Sabian stick bag that was real nice, bro. I was kind of eyeing it myself. All right, back to housekeeping. If you are on Instagram, give us a follow. We haven't even tried to go live on IG. You have to set that up when you're inside. We're gonna start trying to mess with that a little bit because you can go live on IG too. YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Hit your notification bell so you know when we are live, and give us. You can share this podcast if you like. We are also on Spotify. The audio stuff is on Spotify, so you can check us out there. We've got some new videos. We just released an interview with our friend, the great Jazz Graham, where we did a 3-part thing with him. I believe some of that was released today, so we've got more content coming your way. Hang in there with us, and give us some support if you like what's happening on the channel. So we just here. It's a Tuesday night. Got to make something happen. You know what I mean? Got to do something, man. That's the way I look at it. If you're doing something, stuff happens. If you're not doing anything, nothing's gonna happen. So you just gotta keep
moving.
Keep doing. As a great Count Mbutu used to tell me, keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're doing. That was his whole count. What I need to work on, man. Just keep doing what you're doing. So yeah, man. So we're gonna talk. I think mostly about a mentor of ours and a mentor to hundreds of guys. And when I say I'm not even being, I'm not exaggerating at all, so we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we'll see if we get to our subject. Our subject might have to wait till next week, because my man right here is back on the grind with the kiddos. The kiddos, man, up at the college, man, the state college, bro.
Working us out. Occupying parking spaces. Anybody from Kennesaw listening? Stop parking in our faculty parking spots. Tickets are coming this week. I'm letting y'all know. $30 a pop.
Why are you hitting them like that, man? They gotta let them be convenient, man. Let them be convenient.
Bruh, I'm tired of walking all the way across campus, bruh. I mean, it's good for exercise and getting my steps in, but bruh, it was
I'm
hot
surprised.
today.
Don't you know campus police by now? You'd be like, "Hey, Joe, come here." Let's start pointing. Why don't you just start pointing people out, man?
Man,
Start
campus,
pointing them out.
I had somebody hit my car. Campus police was trying to write me up. I'm like, dude, I'm the one called you. I was like, bro, ID, please. Oh, wow.
But hey, but to some of their credit, man, they were still at the session last night.
Right.
Because normally when school starts, you don't see none. You don't
Oh, they
see
came to the session
anybody.
last night?
Yep, some of them was
Okay.
there, man.
They're kind of hungry, man. That's kind of hungry. It's good.
Yeah, that's good. No, I mean, as long as they're coming out, which are again, we're going to talk a little bit about a few things. I guess there's a lot of things that we're going to tie into this unfortunate passing, but
Right.
it's coming out, showing your face, right? It's so important. I think at any level, I think we don't, do that enough sometimes when you're working a lot and you have a
Right.
night off. The last thing you kind of want to do is be out, but
Right.
there's some, sometimes it's good to do that because you just get out of sight, out of mind, not
Mm-hmm.
personally, but just in nature. Like people don't see you. I guess you see everybody now because of Facebook and stuff, but there's nothing that can replace seeing a face in public, man.
Right. Right. Right.
And the interaction and actually getting to know somebody.
Right.
So but yeah, man, other than that, got anything new on the horizon that
Yeah, man. Just
finishing up some recording stuff?
yeah, from the project for Carla Harris. Had horn stuff laid down. Sounds good, man. As a musician, you got to wear different hats, and you don't know what season you're gonna grab a hat from, right? So, like,
Mhm.
I have a New Orleans Saints hat when they won the Super Bowl, right?
Mm-hmm.
I live in hostile territory. I love to wear that hat out here in Atlanta,
Right.
even in my own home, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes you don't want to wear it out. But every now and then you go in a closet and you see the hat there and you're like, you know what? I haven't worn this in a while. Let me put this on. So if you guys are working musicians and you're in your formative years of training, don't say no to anything. Like, go do gigs, theater work, go sit in recording sessions, just watch how it's done. Because you never know when you're going to put that hat on. And sometimes it feels quite comfortable when you get it back on. So crazy thing is, I tell my students all the time, everything you do is an audition. Everything you do, we're in sales. Wherever we play, what kind of attitude we have, whatever is sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so um that session we did at Auburn with Trammell, I got another gig out of it because
Mm-hmm.
Trammell, I don't think Trammell has seen me with the producer or co-producers hat on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so in that environment, he did. And so he recommended me for another guy's project. So I
Right.
don't even know if I'm playing on it, but I'm gonna be like co-producing, sent me all the songs and stuff, and I'll just help him run the session.
I love
So
it. I love
yeah,
it.
isn't that nice? So
Love it. I love it.
everything. You never know what hat you're gonna wear, and you've done it as well, producing and stuff. It's a different animal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Recording is a different animal. We were talking about this the other day. So that's one project. The other project is uh just shedding this organ, man. So I'm looking to do some recording soon for Organ Trio, get those concepts together. So I've been in the shed, bro. I can't wait till you hear what comes out of it.
I
So
love it, man. I love it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, you've been born again in a way in terms of
Yeah.
just like giving you
Nicodemus. Okay, go ahead.
giving giving you another lane to go down
Right, right.
and try to master.
Yeah, man.
That's I mean, but those taking on those challenges, you know,
Hmm.
I think we're gonna save uh our second topic tonight because I think there's some cool production that we can do on this. I've been watching the show Naked and Afraid a lot, right? And both me and my wife, it's man, it's so interesting. I don't know any survivalist firsthand, but a lot of what they do and what they go through, I'm just seeing like the correlation with a lot of what we do in terms of
Hmm.
being thrown into a remote location. So you're thrown into a gig.
Right.
Uh, you have to figure out. So there's the challenges that are presented to you. Sometimes working with bad sound, right? Or uh, you might have to use backline, and the backline is absolutely horrible. So how do you navigate that? All those things.
Man,
So I'm telling you, man,
I thought about doing a class like that
there is
where
a
I
lot of
give my iPad with 1% power on that bad boy.
yep. There's a lot of correlations between, and so I think we're gonna
Yeah,
produce a big show about that, about survival skills. We were going to
yeah.
talk a little bit about that tonight, but I think we're going to hold off on that. And because there's so many things. I mean, I had a doozy on this past Saturday where it was
Really?
like bombs
Oh,
going
yes.
off every second of
Survival skills.
I mean, dude, it was like navigating through a minefield of trying to figure out what was going to happen next, man. I mean, I've never been, you
How does
know,
it feel when somebody calls a song, but it's not the right title of the song? You're trying to
or just, it's like if you were on, uh, it's just the opposite. It would be like you were on we're supposed to be doing gospel music,
right.
and somebody asked for the Beatles, or somebody asked for Led Zeppelin. You're like,
Right, right.
it
Which
was it
ones do I
was
know?
very it
Right,
was it was very much like that, man. So
right.
I just unbelievable, dude, unbelievable. But we'll talk a little bit more about that. But let's get to our tribute and of our great friend and mentor to so many, the late great Russell Malone, man.
From Albany, Georgia.
I mean, obviously, just one of the most diabolically talented cats. Like, I mean, his talent. Obviously, he worked,
Oh, his work ethic is
but he
incredible.
was, some guys. This is what you get when a cat is touched and they put the work in. You get
Yeah.
this level, man, because calling him a master, I think is an understatement. But just I remember hearing about him when I first moved to uh, Georgia in 1991, and I the local music store that I was living in Noonan, and the local music store was Jackson's Music at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So you remember Jackson's Music
Yeah.
that was in so
Old National Highway. Yeah.
right. So there were a couple locations,
Right.
and the owner, Steve Stanley, um, I of course that's when you move to a new town. What you used to do? You go to the local music store.
Hmm.
Hey, I'm new in town, just trying to meet people. Blah blah blah. You might put your little ad, no, whatever, man. That's how we used to do it.
Hmm.
But I went in there. That's where I met Doug Keys. Doug was teaching there. And but Steve turned out to be, Steve was a stone cold Southern boy from Tallahassee, man. I mean, he was Tallahassee all the way, but jazz aficionado and a guitar player in his own right, but knew some jazz guitar, man. I mean, all the masters, Wes Montgomery, Joe Pass, Pat Martino. He comes, so, but he was the first one that told me about Russell. It's like, oh, you gotta check out Russell Malone. Yeah, he's from Albany. He used to play in this band called League of Decency. And League of Decency was, of course, Tommy Dean.
Tommy Dean, yeah.
And I think some other cats that might be, if anybody's in the chat, but it was Tommy Dean, Russell Malone was in the band,
wow.
And there was a few other cats, but that was where I first heard about him. And then I remember, because even at that time, I'm not totally immersed in straight ahead yet.
Right.
It's still, I'm kind of off and on with it. So I've got some stuff and listening to certain things, but I remember buying, maybe a few years after that, I remember buying Roy Hargrove's Crisol record, which is the album that he went to Cuba and got all the Cuban cats on. And it was like Chucho Valdez and El Negro. I'm studying, because that's where I'm at that time,
right.
like studying all of that stuff. But lo and behold, Russell Malone is on that record. I said, oh man, that's the cat that Steve was talking about. And so that was started kind of my thing. This is probably 95, 94, 95, 96. I can't remember exactly when that record, but somewhere in the mid 90s. And then I ended up meeting him when we were doing our session we'll pull up some pictures later of that from Twain's. And that was probably 2008, maybe 9. When we started that session. Was it something like that? Yeah. And he would come through. Well, we got a lot of stories about that, so hold tight. We're gonna tell you some good stories about that. So it just, man, he was just he had known me for many, and I wasn't nobody. I mean, I'm still not, but I'm just saying, like, at that time, I'm just a dude, house drummer on a jazz session. But he treated me like I was his drummer, talking to me, but the just being very supportive, bringing me right in the fold. I guess he liked something about my playing, but pulled no punches, bro. And I'm gonna have you talk a little bit about that, because the minute he started playing, it was time to play. There was no I'm gonna go take it easy on these cats. Oh, I'm gonna ease in. It's like, no, I'm gonna give these cats just like I would in front of 50,000 people. And that's exactly how he played, and it was sink or swim. And I saw him. We both have stories about, he wasn't playing, man. Even with the locals, he was not playing, And if something was lacking, he was gonna let you know. Period. End of story. So let's go back. So yeah, League of Decent. So we had, I'm sorry, man. So Russ Rogers brought in a couple names. Bob McPherson, Al Nicholson is another number. He's a great drummer. And then Bill Hatcher, I know, had something. Yeah, so Bill, the horn player of the league, was Bobby McPherson, one of the absolute finest players ever here in ATL. So thanks, guys.
Yeah.
You
said Billy, somebody said Bobby's. Bobby?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was thinking of, Billy McPherson. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. K Sounds. What's up, K Sounds? I used to love going to see League of Decency, amazing band. I had no idea that Russell Malone was in that band. Yes, he was. Yep.
Man, you said something, because if he liked something about your playing, he would let you know about it,
Mm-hmm.
And he would tell you to keep on going. And Um, it's just a great feeling when you have a cat on that level, just to show up, and then
Just to
come and
show up,
play.
man.
Yeah.
Just to show up, man.
And you're like, that's the perks of having a session like that. Cause we always get the regular folks come up, but when Russell comes out or, you know, cats from Lincoln Center come and sit in and, or I remember Elu came in that time and played like a solo thing at Giant Steps. And I mean, it's just the cats coming out to those kind of sessions for a person in the rhythm section to say, okay, got to put my big boy pants on now. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what we've been working for. Let's see if we can hang. Let's see if we can represent, you wasn't going to hang too much because it was just a different level. Like you said, it was a Ferrari. But you know that your education was going to happen, right then there. And then those nights, bruh, you go home, you don't go to sleep. You probably start working, while it's fresh, which is great. Or relive those moments, runs through your head while you're laying on the pillow trying to go to sleep. You're thinking about what you could have done or what happened or what you accomplished or, all those different things. From a person who plays harmony, though, to hear a guitar player with that depth of harmonic intuition. And, usually as a piano player, I'll take the intros or the outros. But when he played, man, he looked at me. I'm like, you got it, like that. And he plays some of the most beautiful outros in the world or intros. And I was like, oh my goodness. He sounds like a piano player the way he's playing these intros and stuff, Just 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 a beautiful lesson to hear.
Again, what did you said a beautiful lesson.
Yes.
You weren't trying to show him anything. You weren't trying to have improve anything. You like,
Oh,
you got it, man. I'm
yeah,
here. I'm following you.
right,
I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that.
right.
I mean, can you imagine? I mean, we sit here and we laugh at it, but it's like, can you imagine you jumping in and try to he call it and you just jump in and try to play it and you man, come
Cats do it
on,
all the
man.
time. Cats do it all the time. And neither does he want you to sit back and not play either. But find where the spots, find your groove, stick to it and be open and listen. Don't try to step on toes. Don't say, I'm trying to show you, what's going on. You're gonna lose every time, bro. You're gonna lose with a cat of that caliber. When it's time to play, play.
Well, he'll let you know what I mean, he's going to tell you through what
Right.
he's going to lead you into something.
Well, it's like
And
playing with Michael Jordan. It's go time. When it gets tough, we got a killer on our squad. Give it to him. So with Russell, I got a killer in the band, dude. Take us where we need to go. You lead.
I mean, but I guess I guess my point with that was, if he calls something, man, you know what? Yeah, I know this tune. Maybe I know it. Okay, you're saying this. I know it pretty good, but I want to see what he's going to do
Right.
because I know there's something that he's going to do that I haven't even thought about. Let me just sit back and watch the magic happen and
Yeah.
absorb that, and then I can contribute later. Why am I in a hurry? This is like all of these kids that want to think they should be starting, and so they're not starting. They're gonna transfer somewhere else. Don't get me started. It's football
I
season
was about
coming
to
up.
say. About to
We
say.
ready. Saturday night, Irish go down, gonna kill and gonna smash the Aggies. But kids don't want to wait their turn. Wait your turn. Wait until
Learn something.
learn something.
Yeah.
Don't be in such a hurry to be the one, because man, it's a lonely job being the one out front. You think you want that job, but you really don't.
And that person in front of you has been where you've been. So, they can let you go out to the wolves if you want to. without any direction, and you find out what happens.
I let one of them go out last night.
Did you really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So okay, go ahead. Okay.
But you're right. You have to. It's a respect factor. If you jump all on it on the thing, you're going to miss your lesson, and you're probably going to be embarrassed if you just jump out there. But if we go to the analogy of Michael Jordan, when the situation goes down, I passed the ball to Michael Jordan. I'm expecting him to do what he does, but I'm also camping out a 3-pointer and ready. So if he passes me the ball, I got to make that 3-pointer.
That's
So if
right.
he lobs it up, but he's going to bear the brunt of all the heavy lifting. So, in those sessions, people came and they saw. It was like magic, though. I don't know how these guitar players knew Russell. It's not like he broadcasted it. It's like whenever he was in town, word would travel so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
All the guitar players would be at the session,
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your look back moment for Russell? Like when you felt like you could really play and Russell showed up. Is there a moment that you can
Well,
remember?
I had a little bit of a relationship with him. He called me a couple times. Hey, Chris, what's going on? Russell. He would do with a lot of different cats. Just seeing how you're doing, checking on you, seeing what's going on. I never thought I could. I mean, I was just happy to see what I would play when I was playing with him, because it again, it's that same thing. It's like if you're in New York City or you're wherever and you're in that every night, right? It's a lot different. It's like, just like you said, you're gonna go home, you're gonna think about what happened, but then there's in a place like New York, there's always tomorrow, right?
Right.
For us, we only got Russell once or twice a year, man. Because he would come in normally during the holidays, right, to see his family, and he would always make a point to come through. But I don't know if I ever really thought I never thought I was on his level or anything, but there was a couple of things that he said that were very encouraging, and I had a couple of overtures of maybe working with him on some level a couple of times. One of the greatest things that he ever did was introduce me to Kenny Barron and said, Kenny wants to meet you and he wants to get your information. And he was totally, so that was probably my great moment.
That was probably the same day as my great moment with Russell.
Yeah, when he came out. And what was cool about that, man, I'll let you speak on it, but I just thought what was cool was he was kind of the liaison between all the other cats and us. And you could tell that he was proud of what he was hearing.
Yes.
Because if he wasn't, bruh, he'd have been like, yeah, let's go somewhere else. They stayed the whole set to check us out and had questions. I remember Jonathan Blake. We got to get JB on the show, man.
Yeah,
it's long overdue. Jonathan Blake, Regina Carter, Russell, and Kenny Barron were all there, and and he was up front. I'll never forget when I saw he was sitting up front, and you could tell it was like a proud father. Like, yeah, okay, these cats are ready. Thank you for not embarrassing me bringing these cats over to this gig. That's really what I don't know about you, but that was really when I look back on that and I look at the expression on his face and that's what I saw was thank you for not embarrassing me and tell me these cats to come over and check y'all out.
Dude, let me tell you, it's that gig. It was in Churchill in the Whisper Room or whatever the name.
My gig, yeah, it was my gig.
It's your gig, right? So I'm on it, but somehow I was calling some tunes. We were doing a lot of tunes.
Well, we had some arrangements of stuff, but it was.
But my back was to the audience, so I didn't see anybody. We were actually serious. We weren't joking or nothing. It was it was a good night. So Mace was on the gig.
And Mason Craig.
So as soon as the gig was over, we played the last tune. Mace says, Kenny Barron's in the audience. I said, man, you're lying. Stop lying.
Mm-hmm.
He says, no, he's right there in the center, close to the front. Turn around and I look, and it was Kenny Barron right there. I said, oh, snap, like that, right? Because what most people don't know is I wanted to go to Rutgers to study with Kenny Barron. So anyway, love Kenny Barron. At that time, I was listening to Wanton Spirit, which is one of his CDs. It was on repeat. My car. Shout out to James from WRFG. He hit me to that record.
Mm-hmm.
That was on repeat. So anyway, as I'm getting over that, Russell comes on stage. I think he talked to you first. Then he came up to me. He gave me the biggest hug. And in true Russell fashion, he whispered in my ear an expletive-laden sentence that said basically, I'm so blah, 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 effing proud of y'all right now.
Right.
And I said, what? He said, man, he said, Kenny was bopping to everything. He was really listening. He's like, he said, the missing person who needed to be here was Kurt Elling. That's what he said. Kurt Elling should have heard this, but he went back to the hotel. He said, man, I'm so proud of y'all right now. So just what you said, it's like he walks in and sees us. He's like, hey, man, these guys could play. Or I guess just imagine him walking in with the crew and telling them, hey, there's a jazz spot that the cats play here.
Right.
Then coming up to Sam Yee and is like, hey, man, who's playing tonight? It's the Chris Burroughs Collective with Tyrone Jackson, blah, blah, blah. And then he's saying, okay, I know these cats play, but let's see what happens. Right?
Exactly. You know? Because I mean, truth be told, he's never heard us
play in
that capacity before.
Right.
So, I think about that, bro. Like, had that been, oh man.
Yeah, but why would he come on stage like that and say, he would say, I'm so effing proud of y'all right now.
Right.
And he said, Kenny was checking out the whole thing, whatever. And I said, I need to meet him. And he says, I'm introducing you right now. And bruh, with Russell introducing me, I just felt like, man, I was lifted, bro. I was like, first of all, I'm meeting an idol of mine who's on the screen right now, Kenny Barron, who's still kicking, still playing, still contributing.
Right.
But the person who introduces me is saying all these accolades about me. And I'm like, Russell, have you really heard me play?
He heard you.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, man, if that dude wanted me to drive him to New Mexico, bro, that night I would have done it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I would be like, get in the car, Russell, we going, you know?
Yeah.
But it was just like, it's like, wow, I'm glad he called me on a good night. I'm glad that we sounded good, all these different things. And like I said at the top of the show, every situation is an audition.
You know,
you're in sales.
I remember because, you know, we were still playing when Mace came over because, you know, and said that to me, whispered in my ear. We were still playing.
Right.
And when he said that, he was like, he said, Kenny Barron's is here. And I just said, oh, okay. Because, I knew that we were playing at a level that wasn't, I knew, I said, man, I wasn't worried about that. You know, I didn't see like Blake and, you know, I can't remember. I might've seen Blake, but I saw Russell and I did. And then when May said that, you know, but all that did was kind of like, I think to me, it kind of, even though we were already, it was already slamming that night, but I think it even kind of like lifted it up just a little bit because I remember
I didn't know. So
you didn't know. So, but I'm gonna tell you something, man. So after we finished, and we were, Russell was introducing us to everybody. I remember sitting down with Blake and Regina, and he was asking about. He said, "Man, what was that? Was that tune y'all was doing?" So it's like a Joe Sample tune, something like that. I said, "Oh," I said, "Keep that same old feeling." Yeah, that's it. And they started kind of reminiscing. It's like, yeah, that's a hip arrangement. I said, yeah, man, that's my man. That's my man's arrangement, Tyrone's arrangement. So they were talking about that.
That's why Regina got my information that night.
That's why
I heard you write arrangements. That's what she said. So I never heard that side of the conversation. After all these years, that's crazy. So
right.
I was like, why did Regina ask for? How does she know I write arrangements? You do arrangements.
Yep.
So yeah.
So and I remember Blake going, "Man, this your man?" Like he was kind of like, I was like, "Yeah, man."
Like,
because again, there's certain things that cats I think because they're in a certain place. Okay, they're in New York. They do a certain thing. And man, and to Russell Gunn's credit, man, he always tries he would always try to tell everybody this, man. He would say like, "Dude, we do what we do down here. They do what they do up there. It's not cool when everybody's trying to do the same."
Right.
In New Orleans, they do what they do there. In Chicago, they do what they do. He said this is why he got so upset. You remember that night when Glasper and all those guys came in to Churchill, and that whole fight on Facebook started.
Yes.
Okay, did he go about it maybe incorrectly, which he even said at the end he did. But the point he was trying to make was, why are you trying to play to what you think somebody else wants? You just do what you do, man, because the beauty is in doing something different, which, Lord willing, stuff will work out with me and some other stuff that's coming. But that's why people are, they're like, man, and I'm like, dude, I don't play like these guys. And they're like, I like what you do. You do something different, man. And that's what I've tried to live my whole life, man, is just be myself. Be yourself, man. And what I try to tell my students is, man, be yourself. Try to learn how to be yourself. It's hard. You're going to go through different phases of studying different people. All that's cool.
Right.
But at the end of the day, don't be a clone,
No.
Which is what we have a lot today is just playing verbatim exactly like somebody else,
And so, we're not saying not to learn vocabulary and learn language and learn the greats and learn from the masters. We're not saying it's all right for you to sound like Coltrane and sound like that. We're not saying that. We're saying don't just be like everybody else. Find your own sound. But your sound will come from you studying everybody. And then that will naturally fuse into who you are.
But at some point, you have to let go, right? You have to, man, you got to be willing to sound like ass. I mean, I'm not trying to be funny or whatever, but because you have to be willing to take some chances. You have to be willing to see what works and what doesn't work for you. And the only way to do that, man, is like you have to get out there and like, this is what I love. There's certain players, man, that I really love that aren't necessarily, I would say, they're not clean. Their playing is not very, it's not like, you listen to some cats and it sounds like you walked into a dentist office, right? Or a doctor's office. It's like, it's cool, but you know what? All that is muscle memory.
Right.
And not wanting to make no mistake. It's like a certain thing where it's like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
but my point is this. Okay.
You want some
Russell Malone, when you hear him play, you hear the depth of guitar.
Right.
You can hear Benson, you can hear Martino, you can hear Herb Ellis,
you hear the history. You hear the
history. So you hear the depth of his knowledge. I'm not saying that Russell Malone has the most unique voice in the world. I'm not saying that, but the depth of the instrument. And I can say that at the same time too, but Russell just has so much depth for his playing and his knowledge Is that was the biggest thing. So was he a clone? No, because the vastness of his vocabulary was probably his biggest trait, is that he could play, like you said, the history of the instrument, being able to play that.
Perfect example.
Okay.
I'm talking to him one night at probably at Twain's. I guess it had to be Twain's. We're talking about, just hard tunes, basically, is what we're kind of talking about, right? I said, man, I don't know how Freddie Hubbard's Thermo got brought up.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember. I know because I had been studying that, and I think I was working on trying to do an arrangement of that, right? So I may have brought that up. This cat starts playing Thermo on the guitar. Now, okay, case in point. Now I know. So if you don't know Freddie Hubbard's Thermo, no, people just you don't even hear people playing this song at all, because it's very difficult. And but Russell starts playing that. He starts playing, bro. He plays the whole head on guitar, right? He's like, you know, I'd rather, and I'm just like, and then he plays that Freddie Hubbard thing
out of the blue.
Man, I was like, what? Huh? And he goes, that's a tricky mother. You know what? Russell.
Right.
And he kept repeating that line. That he kept repeating that. I had to work on that, man, a lot. But it's kind of like, man, like Craig Shaw, who has that kind of depth, right? Craig he has a crazy amount of the ear mixed with, like, he can hear something one time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he got to hear it, and it's like it's game on.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of that, where I play. I've been in the car with Craig playing him something that he's never heard before. We get to the gig and he's playing all the freaking songs.
Right.
It's that kind of thing, It's that when your ear is that developed, and then you're obviously something like Thermo, you would have to shed. You got to shed that one, right?
It's not just the ear; it's retention. You can have the perfect ear, but the retention has to be there too.
Right.
Right.
So, but the example of that was him sort of I was just like, man. But going a little bit back to what we're talking about is him connecting everybody, right? There's like this thing. It's a natural, he had a natural way of connecting individuals. And I would probably, man, I can only guess how many people he connected together that are playing legendary, either in legendary bands, making legendary music. It's probably because of him. Because if he okays somebody, I'm quite sure that's like Bank of America, right? It's like, boom.
Well, early Russell Malone was sacrifices. He sacrificed for that guitar and music. And that's everywhere. Everybody knew early Russell. Told me he was shedding all the time. Playing all the time at every session, all the time. Just hungry. And I mean, I dare say those sacrifices, you're going to sacrifice relationships. You're going to sacrifice TV shows. You're going to sacrifice wanting to go somewhere, hobbies, whatever. I mean, you're sacrificing a lot to play the instrument. So like Bill Hatcher said, when his opportunity came, he was ready. And that's just what happened. As soon as I remember seeing him on the halftime show for football. I mean, no, for the Star Spangled Banner, him and Branford for one of the football games doing Star Spangled Banner. I was like, oh my goodness. And that's before I knew who Russell was. And I was like, man, that guitar player is killing. That's what I said. Found out later on it was Russell. I was like, man. And I asked him about that too. He's like, man, you know how Branford is. He sprung that on me a couple of days before. Hey, by the way, we're gonna be playing for the Stars, the beginning of a Seahawks game or something, whatever it was they were playing for.
Right.
And I was like, man, he's like, we're gonna play Star Spangled Banner A flat or something like that. He's like, what? But he killed that mug, man. Killed it.
So let's tell a couple of stories.
He could be volatile too.
Well, again, it's I mean, since it's football season, I mean, when Nick Saban is coming to coach you, ain't nowhere to hide. Like, I mean, nowhere to hide. And it's either you sink or you swim. You know.
You want me to start it off?
No love loss. Sure.
You want to start it off? No, you can start it off.
You started off.
Okay, so I'm not gonna name any names.
You don't have to.
I won't. But if
you can, if you want.
If you are listening, and you know this situation, and even if you were the offender, please chime in and let me know what you were thinking about in this moment. So,
that would be great.
We were at Twain's at a jam session. You know, you rotate musicians, so you don't know what configuration is going to be on stage. So I will name this name. Justin Shasark was on drums, and I was on piano, and this young bass player who had studied down a state below us at a very nice institution. Nice institution.
Yeah.
You know, some of those cats that go to Florida State, they get kind of chesty. You know, they think they're going to come up to Atlanta and show us how to play. I'm just going to say it like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. A lot of them come up. Because there's not a real scene down there, but, you know, there's a scene up here. So they come after they get out of their school. They think they're going to set Atlanta on fire.
Right.
So this guy comes in, and Russell says, I'm just going to call out some superficial tunes, but he's like, do you know it'd be so nice to come home to? You'd be so nice to come home to.
Okay.
I said, yeah. Shasark said, yeah. Bass player's like, no, I don't know it. He's like, man, okay. Do you know someone to watch over me? And I'm thinking to myself, man, I'm glad he's calling all the songs that I know so far, right? I don't really like to play somewhere, but I could play it, right? Right. You dare not. This is before Real Pro really took off. But with these kind of cats, you couldn't bring it out anyway. They would be like, let's play something you would know. Don't read anything, right? So, second song, cat says no. He says, just looks like this. Now people are watching. This is a celebrity in the house. They say, all right, what about Beautiful Love? And Justin's like, yeah, we know it. Bass player says, no. He's like, God. He said, what songs do you know? You don't know these little baby tunes that I'm calling out? What songs do you know? He's like, I can't believe this, man. You call yourself a bass player? You want to work in this town? You want to work in any town? And you don't know these tunes? And just as he says that, Cat starts crying on the gig. I'm like, oh, yo. It's getting serious. He says, lay out and listen. Says, Tyrone, let's go. And Justin, you start playing the tune, whatever. Hey, at that time, I couldn't think about him, bro. You know, like Dwight, what's that? I got to think of Andrew. I got to think about my own dang self, bro. So we played it, bro. I looked at Shasark. After that was over, Shasark came up to me and said, I'm so glad I knew the tune. I was like, oh, I felt so bad for that cat. I was like, whew. That's a hardcore lesson right there, bro.
Oh my gosh.
You remember that though, right?
I mean,
You there? You
I
were
must have
there.
been on. I must have been on break, or I don't
You were
think I
on
was
break when
there for that
Shasark
one.
to sit in because Shasark sat in, and Shasark was pretty young too.
Right.
So he got by the hair of his skinny chinny chin chin too. If we
But
could throw
again,
something at
man, when you
Shasark,
know,
then though,
man, jeez, man, it just pays to. I've been in certain situations where it's like, you know, I mean, I've got the famous story of being on stage with Glasper and all these cats, and they call alone together, and
right?
woo, talk about being alone together.
Yeah,
That was what that was. But yeah, man. I mean, it'd be interesting to talk to this cat many years after that and
right,
see
right. I would love to
see
see.
where see because I know he's still playing and stuff. So
Yeah, yeah.
so I mean because you witnessed. See, I never witnessed because when I was there, man, everything. The only time he called something really fast one time, but
Right,
we had been playing that, Joe. We had been playing
right,
that stuff with Joe. Joe, we had been playing a lot of up tempo.
right, right,
So he
right,
was like, okay,
right,
I
right,
never
right.
got so I never got caught, man. I never got caught. Um I never got caught with him. So okay, so let's talk about when he borrowed a certain guitar player's guitar. Let's talk about that
All
one.
right, so I got to set the stage for this because
Okay.
this particular guitar player never comes out to jam sessions.
Right.
So I had been seeing this guitar player because they taught at a particular university that I would do stuff for all the time, right? And so it's like, man, I was telling him, I was like, man, you need to come to this jam session. It's in your neck of the woods, bro. It's high level. It's been going great. Come
Right.
get some. Marcus Printup was in last week, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So he says, man, I don't really go to jam sessions. I was like, dude, just come play with the cats, right? So this cat comes in to my surprise. I said, man, you finally made it, huh? He's like, yeah, I came through. Beautiful guitar, nice amp, all this kind of stuff, and plays. And as he plays, and like I said, a whole bunch of guitar players come out that night.
Yeah.
Russell Malone walks in mid phrase while the dude is playing, right? Standing there. I could see the cat like, oh snap, that's Russell Malone, right?
You're right.
Trade a little bit, we play. Russell gets closer. Joe says, great Russell Malone is in. Yeah, everybody, great. Y'all want to hear him play? Said, yeah. So the cat starts, I almost mentioned his name. The cat unplugs his guitar. And Russell's like, no, don't unplug it. I don't like your guitar. Hey, can I play it? Cat was like, by all means, right? Russell takes his guitar, proceeds to play sounds and tones I never heard out of that guitar. I dare say that cat never heard of his guitar. He's getting jealous, like Russell is teaching his wife to shoot pool or something, just like
Right.
caressing on him. It's like that's the way he's looking at it. And so literally Russell was playing that junk was like smoking. He hands the guitar back to the guitar player. He's like, man, I like this bad boy. The guy says, you're never going to treat my guitar like that again. Shuts his case and walks out, right? So, fast forward. Every week, we never see this guitar player again. By the way, Russell hasn't been back in town.
Right. And this is like how much like
This is
how
almost a
far?
year and a
Right.
couple of months later.
Right.
Well, fate would have it. This cat comes back in. I see him. I said, bruh, been a long time. He says, yeah. He said, I was kind of fearful of coming back because of what happened the last time. I said, man, that was so long ago. As we turn to the door, who walks in the room again? Russell Malone. This cat says, "Not again." Walks out and has never come back. Never came back. He said, all he said was, "Not again." I was like, "What? How is this such a coincidence? What is the odds? What are the odds that this would happen again?" It was like it's a maniacal thing because if Russell did it on purpose, that would be the best story ever. Like Russell following this cat. Let me see when he's gonna come out the twins. And I know it wasn't that. It was just the luck of the draw. But wouldn't it be just like so Russell?
He show up at the cat's school, like
GPS on the cat. He got low jack on the check.
Good to see. He just show up in the class and sit down. And you can see Russell just be like,
right,
man, that's a diabolical cat.
Russell put a tracking device on his guitar last time he played it. It's beeping. Russell gets the first flight smoke to Atlanta.
Bro. Oh
man. I hope this cat is watching. Please come on the
show. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I mean, I know, man. There's
I saw this Falgu, and I thought this was really interesting because coming from another guitar player, I thought this was pretty cool because I never even thought about this or even noticed what appendages he was using to play the guitar. I just heard the sounds. But Bill Hatcher says, to my ear, when you hear Russell playing by himself, just using his thumb and first finger, that's when you hear his best individual sound. That got him away from his heavy pick sound and whatever else. But I never thought about the technique. Like Wes Montgomery only played with his thumb.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't play with a pick. And most people to get that sound, would use a pick, whatever. But it would be, I guess, an unorthodox kind of thing to play.
There was a cat in town that used his it was man, he was really good, man. He's like a lawyer or something now.
Oh yeah.
What's my man's name? Man, he was great, man.
Yeah. Oh, Brian Leach.
Yeah.
Brian
Leach.
Brian Leach was bad.
He had that thumb, the finger. Man, Eddie was just like great, man. He was like, man, I want to study with that cat, man. Like
with Leach or Russell? Leach?
Leach. He wanted to study with Leach. Wow.
Mm. Got a funny Leach story too. Oh, here's the scene of the crime. Look at that.
Woo, babies. Right there. Babies.
Man.
Look at that shirt.
On a golf course, bro?
What am I rocking? I know. What the lapel.
You look real thin, bro. I can't see no belly or anything.
Look at that.
Yeah, you can see all the symbols and everything, bro.
Good Lord.
Look at Joe.
Look at this. Look at this right here.
Oh, wow.
Look at this. That's 2013? Really?
Wow.
I guess that would be right.
Yeah, Sanford's in the picture too. Front and center, look at him.
There's a good one.
A young Kenny Banks, young Darren English.
Darren. Mm-hmm.
Oh shoot, that's not my keyboard. I'm not on this gig.
It looks like senior.
Senior,
the Privia.
Yeah, I missed this one. Look at this picture though. Look at all the cats who are not playing, who they're staring at.
Right.
It's just that, right? It's just watching the master.
Well, it's you getting a free education, man.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody trying. I mean, I'm not, look, man, I'm not trying to say that we're whatever, but it's like when you have a chance to play with someone that is several levels above you,
Yeah.
it's a privilege,
Oh yeah.
and you, man, that's what you live for, is to be in. And that's what it's like, man, if I could play with on this level all the time. Now, not everybody responds to that, as you're from your, you know, from the story you just told.
Right.
But that would have been a great opportunity, I guess, in hindsight. I don't know what to see where the cat, another cat we should ask about where, what do you think about what happened, in that situation. But I know for you and me personally, we'd have been like soaking all of that and be like, hey man,
Mhm.
uh you got time for a lesson while you're here?
Yep.
Something,
Yep.
man.
But another thing is that it made me think about, Chris, is that now that we're uh I hate to say this about ourselves, but in the status of we are educating people by what we play and how we play it. Maybe we have more obligation when we go out to places. I kind of make it a point to go out to sessions when I visit a place, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but maybe we need to go out to places and play so they can get the level up. So, I went to the Chairs Jam session about 3 weeks ago on a Sunday and played. And the cat Dre, shout out to Dre, he's trying to do something.
Yeah, shout out to Dre, man. What's
Yeah,
up, Dre?
so he said, man, we got the great Tyrone Jackson in the house. He's a mentor to us all. That's what he said. And I looked in the band and I said, man, these young cats, they've come across some advice I've given them over some time. Now, you don't want to just like waste your breath telling people stuff, but if you know that somebody's coming to the jam session, they're playing with us, and we say, hey, man, you got to listen to see if it's two feel, and then look up and see when it's going to be time to swing or when we're going to do these kind of setups. That's really education. You're passing along knowledge.
But also, man, but look, listen to that. I mean, Russell wasn't asking, saying, "Hey, man, will we do this? You gonna do?" He was like,
No, no,
"What you?"
no.
So
But we
again,
were a different breed. We were a
but
different breed.
man, but still, dude, I feel like,
And I'm not saying we have to do that. What I'm saying is maybe
but I'm,
we do like Russell did and just play. Maybe
but
that's
I'm
the
saying
teaching.
we do. This is kind of, I guess, what I'm trying to say is that we do explain a lot of stuff, and to me, it's like it falls on. Well, not I'm gonna say with everybody. Some people will absorb that, but look, man, I'm going back to both you and I have labeled a certain gig probably the worst gig we've ever done. I mean,
Oh, yes.
I mean, clueless,
And
and
we
just
were
and just moving on to, oh, I'll have to, oh, I'll just get some other guy. I'll just get some other cats. I'll just get some other guys that
that's what
won't
ate me up
push,
the most was
that
that.
won't push back. That won't have anything. It's like, okay, man, go ahead, bro. I
That's
mean,
what ate me up the most. Like, it was
you
a
don't even,
pleasure for us to do that gig.
right.
The pleasure for us would have been if you said, dude, I'm learning from y'all. Can y'all come do another week? Not to say, hey man, that was great. But I like to play with different combinations. Da, da, da. Dude, you didn't even learn what we're teaching you today.
But bro, even the fact of to have who he had on the gig with us, man. I'm not.
That was
We're talking about student level here, guys. We're not talking about like this is like, you know, Kenny Barron and freaking. It's like student. It's like they're just clueless, man. Like, I mean, I don't even know how else to describe, like, if you're playing with guys who are vastly better veterans, who are not only are who are super connected, who, are guys you definitely want to network with. I mean, just the whole, there's like the checklist is kind of endless, and you treat it like, oh, I'll just get a cat that doesn't even know how to play bass on the gig, and it'll be I got these guys like you and me.
Yeah.
If we had certain people on the, we're like, man, I cannot call. I gotta have, okay, who can I get to be on this gig to match up with this cat? I'm not gonna put my worst foot. We would be so afraid of like putting our worst foot forward.
Yeah.
With somebody that we respect.
Mm-hmm.
And you just and so the respect for, man, that's what I'm just like, wow, this is like where we are.
It's like having a swim team, and you got Michael Phelps on the team, and then you have Monty Python swimming. And then you tell Michael Phelps, hey man, thanks for coming out. And Michael Phelps like, yeah, man, I could show you some things, whatever. Yeah, don't worry about coming next week. Because I got Joe Blow coming next week. But Monty Python, I'm gonna call him back next week too. Dude, Monty Python can't swim.
Right.
He needs to really get deep. He drowned a couple of times out there. Monty Python drowned. Now I can't help make up the gap because I'm a strong swimmer, bro. But truth be told, you're not a strong swimmer.
Right. Right.
But the inability to recognize that, bro, it was.
That was so. That's one of the more surreal moments I think I've ever. I was like,
so bad. I had to kick you off the drum set. I had to kick you off, bro.
Man, we were just like, what are we doing, man? What are we doing? What are we doing?
Soon as some piano players come in, I was like, yo, you didn't have any relief. 3 piano players. I was like, come on, man, play. Shout out to Blake. Hey, man, this is good for you. Man.
Well, all right, guys. I think we're gonna wrap it up a little bit. We're gonna kind of get it short tonight, and we just wanted to, say. Oh, there's also B. Do you have the GoFundMe? There's a GoFundMe for Russell's memoriam that we want to pass along.
And Falco, after you do that, if you get a chance, see if you can pull up that picture of Ron Carter where they left the chair open for him on the rest of their tour. It's just a really poignant picture.
Where is that? You know where that is? Like, would it be on Ron's page? Would it be on Ron's page?
It would be on Ron's page. Yeah, Ron Carter. But yeah, so there's a GoFundMe, www.gofundme.com/forward/F/legend-Russell-Malone.
So I'm sure you could go to the GoFundMe page.
It's in the chat too, if you want to go check it out.
And it shouldn't be hard to find, but that is the actual link. And yeah, so and T just put it in the or B just put it in the chat. So just even because again, man, it doesn't matter how much you donate. $5, if you got $1, you got $5. I mean, that's what makes all the difference, is
and I wish we could have got Joel Powers from Albany, Terrell Stafford drummers from Albany. So yeah, they Russell was a mentor to Joel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I told him that
he didn't even mention that. I never talked to him about that.
Yeah, talked to him about it, man. He heard him when he was a little kid, man. Told him that he needed to make his way to Atlanta. That's the only way he's going to get better as a bass player. I was like, okay. Because he was, he was probably the man at all, but there it is.
Yeah.
So they're still on tour, and they, instead of getting somebody else, they left a chair out there for him.
Nice. Beautiful.
Look at the chair raised. It's an old school chair.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that you can. Praise the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a tribute for the great Russell Malone right there.
Yeah, I mean, just about every legend had something to say. From even younger guys that are, I guess, would be considered younger, which would be like 30-ish, 30s in their 30s.
Right.
He, you know, he was just a great mentor, but that doesn't, great cat, but hey, held you accountable, right?
Right.
Held you accountable for upholding, you know, for upholding, see how much work you put in, you know, see
Because
how
he
much
put in
work
work.
you, that's right. You put in
Work
work. So
knows work. Yeah.
just put in the work, man. I heard somebody talking about that today is you want the rewards without that's really a lot of what's happening now is you want the rewards without putting in the work. Nobody wants to work. It's all about, you know,
They
uh,
go and buy the outfits before they even can be competent on
or,
stage.
emotions or the sympathy,
Yeah.
you know. So, but he's, there's that, his generation and even the generation above, before him,
Mm-hmm.
we gonna miss they were hard on us, man, but we gonna miss them, man. I mean, they are gonna be sorely missed. So all that to say, go check out, if you are not familiar with Russell's work. His library is
Yeah.
extensive. I mean, from a sideman, it's ridiculous. I'm sure you can look it up, and see all, a bunch of records that he played on, but his solo records, and he was always nurturing the new cats that were coming on the scene. That was one of the things that, the older cats always used to try to do, man, was, you know, who's the new cats, man? Let's get that fresh blood in there. And because they wanted to be pushed too. They wanted to if somebody had something new to say and something they can learn from, they were open to that as well,
Mm-hmm.
So go check out his library and listen to some Russell Malone this week, man.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, thank everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Everybody was in the chat: James, Mark, Brad, Sigwell, John. Of course, we got to get Bill Hatcher on, man.
Yes, gotta get Hatcher on. I'll
Bill,
make the call.
We will let us know, man, when you can come on. We got to get you on and get your
Bill
wealth
probably
of
got a cathode
information.
ray TV that he monitor that he's gonna be going through. I can't wait to see what he's gonna use to go through.
One of the most innovative,
yes,
geniuses around, man, Bill Hatcher. So we'll get Bill on the show, and we got to get Neil Stark. I mean, we got a lot of people we got to catch up to. So,
right.
Brad, congratulations on being first again. You're first in our book, brother.
Shout out to Russ Rogers. Did you say Russ Rogers?
Yeah, well, I did not say Russ. Steve Lake. Who else, man? Missing a couple of people, man. Jackie, Rich, Ron, K Sounds. Yeah. So Rodney Williams, Jerry Lee. Great to see you guys in the chat. And anything else, man? I think we hit on everything. So,
sir,
my man need to get some sleep.
That I do.
I need to as well. And be at Tin Roof Cantina tomorrow night with the Mikeville band if you guys want to come out. And there's also the session tomorrow night at Red Light Cafe with Gordon Vernick And I think that should be what Robert Boone and probably Kevin
and Neil
Bales in the rhythm section. So you can go check that out. And I think that's about it. I think we had one more. Nope, that's it. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. Subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram. But most importantly, subscribe to the channel on YouTube. Share this podcast and let us know what you think about it. All right, guys. We will see you all next week. Peace.